and welcome to Choreographer Talk. My name is Jane D'Angelo. I'm the director of OhioDance and producer of the OhioDance Festival. Today, our guest choreographer is Emily Baird. My first question for you is, your research explores body awareness in dancers. How does that knowledge influence the way you choreograph and work with performers in the studio?
This is such a great question. I feel like thinking about body awareness is one of those things that I'm simultaneously always thinking about and also never really thinking about. It's kind of on a simmer in the back of my mind all the time. But I think there are several things I try to incorporate it in the studio. I put a lot of focus on being present with my dancers, whether that's being present with the movement that they're doing in a technique class or whether it's the concept of the choreographic piece that they're doing. I really try to prioritize sensation over aesthetics. I'm trying right now to get a mirror to cover, or a curtain to cover the mirror in our dance studio so that the students aren't always so tempted to judge themselves based on their reflection. I also recently got really into floor work technique, and I think moving on the floor is something that has made its way into a lot of my classes and rehearsals. I feel like that just gives a really strong, like sensory tactile feedback to the body as we're moving. So I use a lot of floor work in warm-ups and cool downs and even throughout the rest of class and rehearsals. Um, and overall, I think I try to prioritize or view dancing as something that is like joyful and expressive and creative. Um, and I ask my students and my colleagues in Drift Dance Collective a lot to kind of improvise gestures or phrases just based on what feels right in their body, not necessarily in like a prescriptive way of how it works for me and then telling them to replicate it exactly. So really prioritizing sensation over aesthetics is probably the main way.
I do have another question for you. So, as both an educator and artistic director of Drift Dance Collective, how do you balance creating work that is intellectually grounded while still connecting emotionally with audiences?
I think I guess it's in part the same answer as I gave for the first question, which is like I guess I'm always thinking about it and I'm not really consciously thinking about it. Um, I feel like when I choreograph, at least when I'm making a piece, I I really trust my like gut instincts and things that emotionally move me, whether that's the music or a certain gesture. Um, and I'm sure that those instincts are informed by my background, by my research or things that I have read or figures that I have studied, but it's almost that the channel just kind of feels open, not to sound super woo-woo. Um, but the other thing I wanted to mention is I think we in the dance community, at least I deal with this a lot in my job, working at a college, is I'm always thinking about this barrier that people kind of put up in terms of their ability or whether they like are allowed to like watch dance and understand dance. And I'm really interested in kind of getting rid of that barrier. Uh, I think we all can understand movement and dance much more easily than we give ourselves credit for. So I never want my work to feel like it's so intellectually grounded that it's inaccessible, or that I'm working with concepts that like you have to know all of the background research in order to appreciate it. Yeah, this is a bit of a tangent, but I was watching the Oscars the other night and was just thinking about how like all of these artists and technicians, like knowing all of the nitty-gritty technique and history and methods and theory of how to bring something to life is beautiful and wonderful, but it really just enhances the original idea. And like the original idea or the human feeling that I am always trying to convey with my pieces, I think is at the heart of it. And so the research is just there underneath it to kind of support it and make it clearer.